Hey, Shalom Watkins, Rakamak Pasham, Jim Islam, giving all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem Chachadash. Want to give double honors unto the elders, the apostles, the GMS, and Shalom out there to the hopeful elect pushing his truth and all sincerity. Back again, one other video, and I was going to entitle this one, The World Is In Turmoil. Right? There's always so much going on in this world, man, and this world is obviously falling to pieces, man. Right? Yeah, they got just recently you had the Bashar al-Assad was the president of Syria. He had to flee. Now, Syria's been taken over by, supposed, I don't know how they would phrase them, but like the freedom fighters or whatever, right? So, everyone believing that they're in for peace and this kind of stuff now, but you know, you got shit going on. Georgia still crazy ass protests in France and shit going on. Fucking, these men had to come out of power. The prime minister had to come out of power because they had the vote of no confidence. England's gonna go through the same shit, right? With our leader Starmer, and we just had the elections in America and that kind of stuff. There's a lot of just stuff going on. It's really just dividing people, man. Everyone's unhappy, all right? And everybody is gonna voice their opinions, man. People are protesting and shit. Okay, war is on the horizon. This place is a very unstable place right now. All right, so again, this place is in turmoil. You got different disasters going on and stuff like that. So this place is not a stable place right now, and people are not united. And not as one to do anything about it, really, right? And this all goes into what the Most High wants or has prophesied the earth will be like, right, under the rulership of the wicked, who is Esau, who is the so-called white man, right? Because you got the elites of these Edomites pushing for chaos in the world, all right, and that's why you see all this crazy stuff happening right now. Okay, this instability in the earth, right? There's never been a time like this before. All these economies are only failing. Okay, under financial pressure. Right, I was watching the news earlier today, and the car markets in Europe, man, they're just tanking, man. China's outworking them. All these electric vehicles and shit, man, and so Europe's falling well behind, man. Right, they're just losing. Well, it's losing that battle, man. So financially, all these nations are kind of getting screwed. Right, the people are upset, right, with their leaders, with the governments, right, because they're taxing the people and taking things away from them and all these kinds of things. And you got farmers here protesting in the UK, because you had farmers protesting in Europe and Brussels and stuff like that. You got more protests going on in France or coming up in France. We had the yellow vests a while back. All these things. It's just this place is just very unstable, right? And if you didn't know, like you didn't know the scriptures, right? You wouldn't really know what's going to happen next, kind of thing. Which way the country's going to go. We know where it's going to go. We know what's going to happen to these nations. Okay, they're all going to fall, right? They're all going to be drawn into war. Right? They're all going to have to be dealing with civil unrest, right? And this is why Esau, and these governments, they have these powers to declare martial law. Or that's another one, right? So in South Korea, they declared martial law at a drop of a hat. Basically, they just come out of nowhere. And these governments are and have the capacity and the capability to do similar things, right? And when shit gets too crazy, right? That's when the government gonna step in, and that's when you're gonna see the teeth of these governments, of Esau, right? You're gonna see Esau come with great wrath, or as Scripture say, Revelation 12:12, the devil coming through with great wrath because he'll have but a short time. All right, you're gonna see the teeth of the devil. You're gonna see the horns of the devil. Okay, when that time comes, right? Because we're heading into that time of trouble. Okay, we're heading into what's described in the book of Daniel, chapter 12, verse 1, as a time as never been before. Okay, a time of evil such as never been before. right? And so we're gonna see all this stuff, man. And we're getting so close now, because all of it's just building up. It's not, the pressure's not dissipating. Okay, the pressure's just still building up. Things are only getting worse. It's only ever headed in one direction, and that gives us great confidence. Okay, when we speak the things that we speak, when we prophesy, because it ain't going away, and you people are gonna have to deal with all these things that we're talking about. Right? There's no hope for this kingdom. Okay, for Esau's kingdom, and the kingdoms of the world, there's no hope for them. Okay, they're all gonna fall. All right. So I just wanted to get into that. Okay, so I'm gonna go through these scriptures now. Right, starting from second Ezra chapter 9, verse 1. So he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And this is what the people don't understand right now. Okay, what the Most High is doing is bringing an end to his kingdom. The Most High is visiting this place, right, bringing plagues and judgments against it. Right, that is why nothing seems to be going right. That's why all these nations seem to be failing. Okay, that's why society is getting worse. Right, these are all plagues and judgments brought about by the Heavenly Father. Right, and you could say, yeah, these wicked elite, they're behind it. Yeah, but the Most High is the one moving these characters, these dudes, to be doing these things, to bring about this situation that's occurring right now. Right, and these are all things that, as men of the Lord, we're meant to be paying attention to. Right, and like I said, it tells us what's going on, where we are in prophecy. And so we're always thinking about these things when these things pop off. Right, because it always is relevant to the end times. Okay. This is verse 2. So then thou shalt understand that it's the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, right? The people in the world are in a furore, right? They're angry, they're frustrated, right? And a lot of them is making their voices known, making their voices heard. Okay, so they're going to come out on the streets and protest and block roads and do whatever it is that they're doing. Okay, trying to get their prime minister deposed, voting no confidence, doing all kinds of polls and shit, like trying to get people out of power and stuff like that. And a lot of in other countries, man, raise up armies to take man out of power. And that's going on these different places and stuff, right? So as he just had the Syria president or ex-president Assad, he had to flee the country, so they've removed him. So his government's now finished. The same what they've done with Gaddafi, Saddam, and all these characters. Same thing, right? And this has all been going on. Now you might think, oh yeah, but Gaddafi and Saddam, that was ages ago, right? But it's still in the time frame of the end. It's still all these things. It's not been like this, man. This time that we've been living has been kind of crazy, man, and things are just accelerating, right? So as I said, we're in a time where it's been very unstable, right? And the instability is gonna, increase. So we just had we had just recently. Well, we're still here now. He's still president, I guess, right? The throw Joe Biden. We had some senile president in the United States, and now we're gonna go back to the venture capitalist Donald Trump, the crazy one, so called, right? He's just crazy, right? But we've had all these weak leaders, man, and it's like these people shouldn't be running the country, but here it is, here they are, and nothing that they do seems to do anything of any good, ultimately, and like I said, they're all trying to heal Babylon, but it can't be healed, right? It's gonna die. Okay, America's gonna be destroyed. Okay, America's gonna fall. America is no longer great, right? Greater than the other nations at the moment, yeah, because you still hold that privilege in earth, being the world reserve currency and having the mightiest military. You have all these privileges still. Okay, but your hegemony, there we go, hegemony, right, is being taken away from you. And the Most High said, break your staff, man. So it's being taken away, and then ultimately that's going to end in your demise. Okay, being completely removed from the earth as a power. Okay, so these are all, everything that's happening in the earth is, you know, things that have to happen to, to bring it to that point. All right. So it's verse 4. So then thou shalt well understand the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and the end is manifest. Right. A lot of you don't believe America is going to come to an end, or the European power, structure, white man's power is going to come to an end. But it has to. Right. Just like every empire and every king that came to an end prior before this one, it came to an end. Right. Because none of these nations are righteous, and all unrighteous kingdoms fall. Most High make sure of that. Okay? And this is no different. You think just because you got the mightiest military in the world, you got nukes and you got all this kind of shit that you're going to reign forever? Rome had the mightiest military in the world at one time. Yeah? So did the Persians, so did the Greeks. They all disappeared, man. Okay, America's going to be no different. Okay, this modern, this quote unquote modern world that we live in, it's all going to be destroyed, right? And reverted back to how things are supposed to be. Okay, because all this wickedness that has been brought upon, it can't stand. Okay, we're looking for a new era, a new generation. Okay, which is going to be headed by our Lord Yahweh Shai. Okay, he's going to lead the world into the the new world, right? Where our perceptions of things is going to change, the way we do things is going to change. Okay, the path that we're on, man, we're going to be taken off that path and set on a new one. All right. So verse 6, even so the times also the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works and endings in effects and signs. All right, and that's our job, to watch for these signs. Okay, so we know exactly what's going on. Okay, like I said, for the rest of these people, it's going to come as a thief in the night, because they're not really paying attention. They're not really expecting these things to happen the way we say, or as it is written. Right? They think America is this indestructible nation, and the so-called white man's this super intellect that just can't be, you just can't remove him. You can't take him out of power. We need him. No, we don't need him. We don't need Elon Musk and his fucking his bullshit Neuralink and all this technology. You don't need that shit. You don't need it, man. Because he ain't not doing nothing but creating the ways in which to enslave the people with, right? Because he ain't nothing but a puppet. Okay, working for the elites. He ain't here to save mankind. That's Yahweh Shai is there for that. Right, and really ultimately for the elect of Israel, really. But mankind in general is going to benefit after their punishment, okay, from the changes that the Lord's going to make, the righteousness that He's going to bring. This is for Matthew 24 and verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? All right. So this is what we're supposed to be focusing on, the end of the world, right? How do we know we're close? Right? Verse 4, and Yahweh shall answer and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Right? So I say we've always had all these wars going on of late. Even in these, last couple of decades and whatever. Right? We've had all these wars and rumors of wars. Right? And if continued, and things have escalated, the relationship between Russia and the West has grown more sour, right? So to the point now that Britain and America, they're authorizing their weapons, the big boy weapons to be used in Ukraine against them and that kind of stuff. So you're escalating the tensions with Russia, and obviously they're responding in like manner. Right, so you got the whole Ukraine-Russia issue, you got the whole Palestine and Israel issue, Israel, Syria, Israel, where the fuck they are. Israel's want to beef everybody right now. So you got that whole war in the Middle East there, and the contentions going on around that. Like so you got shit going down in inside the governments and stuff like South Korea You know, there's just shit going on. Okay, it's causing great instability in the world, right? We had North Korea joining Russia in Ukraine. So this global conflict is gonna take place, man. It's all gearing up, man. Yeah, it's all gearing up. You know. So you got shit going down in Georgia. You know. So yeah, these are the wars and ruins of wars, right? So that all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So this is what we're witnessing. So we're seeing it, and you're meant to like register that in your head. It's like, oh, okay, all right. So the end's not gonna happen right now, but like it's soon after this, you know, because we know there's a World War III, but we know these skirmishes that are going on right now isn't World War III, because we know World War III is supposed to take place down there in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, and all the nations are going to be gathered there. Right, that's not happening at this moment in time, but you can see the what do they call that, the prelude, you know, the you know, the things that are bringing us to that moment, you know, because it's going to only be surrounding Israel, because the scripture speaks about them being the least of the flock, and they should draw them out, right? And you've got Iran in the area, in the region, you know, and so it's going to be based around those problems down there, which is going to draw all these nations in, you know, to either defend Israel or defend Iran, depending on, you know, whose side they're on, you know. And so that's what we know World War III is going to be fought around. All right, so these other skirmishes, they're signals, they're signs, right? But they're not the big one. All right, so we know that the end is here, or it's soon coming, but this is not it yet. All right, like I said, we still got to wait for the MOTB, the mark of the beast, to rear its ugly head in society. Right, and you got guys like Elon Musk working on that technology, bringing that, you know, into the public sphere, making it popular, you know. And so when the government decides, because like I said, these governments are in turmoil, right, and their solutions in this turmoil, you know, the MOTB is going to be part of that, right. And like I said, you got guys like Elon Musk working on these technologies to present them to the public, to make it seem, you know, public friendly. All right, so when the government does drop it, it announces it and declares it, you people ain't gonna feel so mad about it, you know, because, well, you ain't gonna have much options anyway, right? Because once this financial system breaks, right, you ain't gonna have no options, man, because you ain't gonna have no fucking money, right? You ain't gonna have no money, so, you know, you can do all the complaining you want, and you feel like, yeah, this violates my personal whatever, my personal space or whatever, you know. What ultimately, what else you gonna do? You know, what else you gonna do? You can say no, fine. Don't take the MOTB, don't take the C-hip, but you know, where you gonna get your food from? How you gonna feed your children? And so these predicaments are gonna be in your mind, and like, oh shit, you know, there's nothing else, and a lot of you are just gonna give in to that and take it. You know, there's a reason why all these governments, all these nations are in problems right now, because they're ready to collapse this place. It's going to cause a collapse. And out of that collapse, or within that collapse, they're going to bring in MOTB. Okay, that's what you people are going to have to be dealing with. Okay, these are all signs. These are signs so we can, you know, we can know that how far, you know, how close we are, right, to that hour of temptation, until the end of to the coming of our Lord, as we're reading, right? Because once these people take the MOTB and World War III is kicking off, and you know, it won't be long until the Lord turns up. Okay, that is why those are the moments we're really waiting for, is the MOTB, World War III, right? But for the MOTB to come into place in World War III, this place is kind of going to go into free fall, man. This place is going to look real fucked up, right? All this turmoil in these governments, man. Like I said, it's gonna escalate. Okay, until this place crashes, you know. And these will be the reasons why they got to bring in the MOTB. The reasons why they got to bring in martial law and all these types, because they need to keep the populace under some type of control. All right, and so if they dangle the carrot of being fed and watered, you people are going to be more compliant. It's as simple as that, because people will do anything to stave off hunger. and to stave off first, you know. Where many times in the scriptures about, what went on back in Egypt during the 7 years of famine. Okay, when it was all rolling up to Joseph, tending to, buy our cattle, buy our land, buy us, make us slaves so we can eat, you know, because they didn't have access to food, so they sold everything that they had just so they could be fed, and gave themselves onto Pharaoh, and Pharaoh did basically what he wanted with them. Okay, people are going to be in the same predicament. So again, these are all signs that we watch for to let us know how close we are. Right, and we, like we said, we keep telling you, man, every day is a day closer. Things are not going away. These things are happening. Right, but anyway, back here it says verse 7: For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places. Right, so we're gonna get all of this, man. We've been having this, right? But it's not like it just happens one time. It's gonna happen a bunch of times, right? But then we're gonna get to the end where that mass famine is gonna take place. That those mass pestilences. But all of these are plagues and judgments that the Heavenly Father is sending upon the earth right now. And it says all these are the beginning of sorrows, right? So, like I said, we're in those times. Okay, we're just not at the end of those times. Okay, we're just real close to it. Okay. This is second Daniel chapter 2, verse 42. And this is part of the prophecy to do with the statue, right? But I just want to get the point out here for verse 42, right? It says, and as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken, right? We're in the end, the last kingdom in this vision, in this prophecy, right? And we're at the toes of that kingdom. And there's a problem with this part because it's not cohesive, right? Is the word I'm thinking of, right? Because it's made of iron and clay, and iron and clay don't go together, right? So it's not quite the iron it used to be, because this is nothing but the second part of the Roman Empire, whereas before it was made of iron, the legs were made of iron, and it was strong, right? Militarily and all that kind of stuff, right? But this kingdom that's been built or has been resurrected, so to speak, right? Because that's what has happened, right? Is not quite the same, right? And it's mixed, so it's mixed with this clay, right? But like I said, it's not cohesive, right? It says verse 43. Sorry, let me read that again. As the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken, right? Then there's elements to it that is weak, right? This European Union, okay? There's parts of it that is weak, okay? What European Union plus America, which is basically NATO, right? There's parts of the European Union that is weak, okay? That are really letting the other nations down, so to speak. But they're all falling into that category now. They're being weakened every day, because it's all going down. It's all about to go down. Right? It says, and whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, because they're big on immigration. You see that these issues have been rising up lately in all these European nations and in America. Big talk about immigration, because they open the doors to everybody, right? Because only they need the labor, but the amount that they let in, it causes friction with the current residents of these nations, man. And that's always been a things in the past, where, let's say, trying to find the right wording, right? The Romans back then, they were living in the same sort of predicament where you had foreigners or slaves coming in, like they say, taking all the jobs, right? Taking all the jobs, but they couldn't find work, right? Because this the slaves and that were coming in from these different lands, they would work for cheap, right? Well, they were slaves. You know what I mean? So you didn't need Roman. You wouldn't put a Roman in, choose a Roman to work, because you have to pay him. And so they would complain of the fact that they got no income, and they were poor and they couldn't eat, right? And this is why bread and circuses, the games, the arenas, the entertainment came in, Caesars will throw these lavish parties, and that's the same thing that Trump was announced that he was gonna do, right? He was gonna basically have a celebration for the greatness of America for the whole year. That's why he's Nero, right? But it's just no different. Okay, we're in the same sort of situation, man, and this was the beginning of the fall of the Roman Empire, basically. Having doing all these things was a sign of that the kingdom was falling apart, and now it's the same. Got a whole bunch of people on benefits and all these kind of things, but it's not enough. Like, these people that are on that shit is not enough, man. So everyone's frustrated, you know, because of things like immigration and stuff like that. So they brought them still, let me read this again. Whereas they saw us iron mixed with Mariah, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. So they got all these nations coming in and participating in the kingdom, right? But they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave to one another, right? They're not together. They're not united. Okay, they don't like each other. They got problems between each other, right? Even as iron is not mixed with miry clay. Like I said, they're not cohesive, right? So there's always going to be issues, okay? And this is what these nations are dealing with, okay? That's why the immigration thing is a big political talking point, It's a big point. And that's how these what they call them, right wing, I think it's right, or whatever. One of these wings, right? They're getting more and more power because they're taking a firmer stance against these certain policies that the opposite wing is making. I believe it's the right wing. That's what Trump is a part of, and he's talking about building. Before he was talking about building walls, and people were like, yeah, because we need to keep these immigrants out and that. And the same with places like France. You got Le Pen, you got Farage here in the UK. He got more traction this year. So he got some seats in the parliament, all that kind of shit. And it's just it's the same elsewhere in Germany and whatever. They people are frustrated, so they're voting more right, whatever you call these things, okay, because they want to get a hold on get a hold of their country, man. They feel like they're losing it, So I said it's causing frustrations, man. Okay. It's 2 Ezra chapter 15 verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh. Right, all these things, all these signs is a sign for that their destruction draweth nigh. Right, and one people should stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Right, so because of the fractures in society, the differences between people, right, the frustrations and all these kinds of things, the animosity towards their governments, their leaders, for leading them or leading the country in the direction it's gone in, right? It's gonna explode, right? It has exploded in some places, but we haven't seen a complete meltdown of America and European nations just yet, but it's coming, right? And like I said, they're gonna have to come out with force to kind of quell that, right? But the time's gonna come where this is gonna happen, right? So for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, for one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, right? So they're gonna become violent, right? For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, right? So they're gonna be like, to hell with the government, to hell with all these politicians and whatever, to hell with the police. We don't recognize them, and we're not hearing them anymore. All right, so they shall not regard their kings or princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city, and shall not be able, right? Because they said, these governments are going to crack down on these people, declare martial law and all that kind of stuff, right? And lock man in or lock man out, So because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Right, because it's going to be a real dark and crazy time at that time. Things are still relatively peaceable. No shit going on in different places and whatever, but it's gonna get far worse, and it's gonna affect everywhere. Okay, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Right, people do crazy ass things when they're hungry. when they've got families to feed and shit, and they can't get no food, can't afford it, can't find it, or whatever the case may be, right? So we're going to see the complete breakdown of society, right? And like I said, it's already started happening, okay? But these fractures and these fissures are going to become even greater, to the point where, you know, people are going to be killing each other, man, just, you know, basically so they could eat. You know, they're not going to care about each other. People have become selfish and heartless in this place anyway, because of the lifestyle that, you know, that they live, and the culture that we've you know, that we're consuming in these places, you know. So it's all just a matter of time. These are all signs, man. The fact that things are like the way they are right now. This is Isaiah 19:2. It says, "I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom." Right. So within and without, right. You have nations fighting one another, right. But you're gonna have inside the nations in turmoil fighting one another too. That's why we talk about the race riots, you know, all these things, you know, civil unrest. We're gonna see all of that. Right, it's gonna be complete turmoil, man, and to deal with that is kind of crazy. You got to deal with outside and inside problems, issues like that. It's not gonna go well, right? It's not gonna go well, man. And like I said, this is just a complete breakdown of the nations, man. The Most High, these are all judgments the Most High is sending, right? This is verse 3, "And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof." Right? As I say, it's not going to go down well. They're not going to be able to deal with all these problems. Okay, these countries are going to collapse. All right, they described the Syria government as collapsing because they got, you know, their government was ran out basically. Right, these nations are going to collapse. Right, and all that's going to be there is military authority. You know, I say you might have certain leaders and that keep calling the shots, but that's all that's going to be there. There isn't going to be no formal, you know, political system where, you know how things usually are. You know, it's just going to be military rule. You know. So yeah, the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards, just like they did in Egypt. When shit was going crazy with all the plagues and stuff, man, they didn't know what the fuck to do. So they were consulting, you know, their gods, their idols, right? So they're gonna consult the demons, the spirits, and that kind of stuff, trying to figure out what to do. And even these people, they're gonna turn to the idols and stuff like that, you know, trying to hoping that things are gonna get better, you know, that they're gonna be safe. But like I said, most of you people are gonna call upon idols. The only people that are gonna be safe in that time are the men of the Lord. Okay, those that fear Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, you know, because it's our power that's doing all these works. And like it's the same again when we was in Egypt. The only people that were kind of safe were the Israelites. Well, that were safe were the Israelites, right? But this time around, the only people that are gonna be safe in this time are the elect of Israel. Okay. So we're wanting from that. All right, so I'm going to close out with this. This is from Matthew chapter 12, verse 25. So you get the point, right? It says, "And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation," right? So a complete and utter collapse is going to take place all over the earth, man. Because they're going to be dealing with too much problems that they just don't have the capacity to deal with. You know, they can't even deal with the shit that's going on now in a moderately peaceful time. You know, a time of peace, and they still fuck it up. Man still got shitty health services and all kinds of things. You know, they can't even deal with things now. So how are they gonna deal with it when it gets really peak? You know, so they're not gonna have the capacity to deal with any of it, right? So it's all gonna fall apart. These people are gonna be at each other's throats because the frustration is real, right? So they're gonna be at each other's throats, venting their frustrations and making excuses for themselves for why they're behaving the way they're behaving. You know, So again, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. All right, so everything's going to fall apart, even the household, the family households. Okay, they've been torn apart because of Esau's philosophies and doctrines that have infected everybody. Right, so everything is unstable. Everything is unstable, and everything that's unstable is going to fall. Right, just like the parable of the house built upon the rock and the house built upon the sand. The house that was built upon the sand had a great fall, as the scripture tell you. Right, and so this is just like a cascading domino effect that's going to reach out across the whole world, man. It's all going to fall because it's built upon sand, built upon lies and deception, built around deceit and fraud, murder, blood, wickedness. That's what it's built upon. And so all these things are going to fail. Right? The only things that are going to stand strong in that time when that storm comes is the elect. Okay, that you know, those who fear Yahweh and Yahweh. All right, and that is why we watch for all these things, man, because we believe in the things that are written in these scriptures. Okay, we believe upon the names of the Heavenly Father and His Son. All right, we believe. So, Lord willing, we'll receive that protection when that time comes. But everything else is gonna fall apart. Okay, and you know, the things we see are just, you know, the signs of that. You know, the markers, the indications. You know. So I'm gonna end it there. Lord willing, this has been edifying, and I'll catch you brothers and sisters on the next video. Till next time, I say shalom.